Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. Your video is about to start shortly. Please take this opportunity to hit the like button down below, leave some comments, tell your friends. Interaction, likes, subscriptions help my channel to grow and help me to keep producing content for yourselves. If you're new to my channel, check out the other videos that I've got. There are over 500 videos at this stage, so there should be something there for everybody. Again, video is about to start. Hit that like button down below. Hi guys, so we're tying a classic Spey fly for fishing, and this one is a gold Reeach or Reeach, or I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it, but so this is a Daiichi 1.5 here. It's model 2051. I'm using a black tying thread. So it depends how much of the hook you want to take up here, but I'm probably going to go down until we're about level with the point here, and then we're going to tie in 3 different ribs. So I'm going to tie in 1 silver oval, 1 gold oval, and 1 gold flat. And we're tying them in at 3 different points. On the clock, so to speak. So then they'll wrap with gaps between them. So this fly has a spaycock hackle. In this case, I'm using like a natural schlappen here. Calls for red. I'm using this one that has like a black center to it because I like the look of it. And what I'm looking for is something that still has a bit of mobility or give down here in the fluffy section. I'm going to strip off the fluff except for the start of it. So I want a turn or two that has some marabou type feathers to it, and I'm going to tie that on with its good side facing towards me, because this is going to wrap normal as a right-handed tire, whereas the tinsels are actually going to wrap the opposite direction. So I'm going to tie it up on top there. I'm going to take that stalk along here until it meets our return eye. Snip that off and then tie that hackle stalk in along the body. So that is the beginning of the fly. Now there's a good chance that your hackle is going to break whenever you start to it, so that's the problem with these flies with very complex sort of ribbed bodies, is that if your hackle gives, then you've kind of to stop the whole thing and go back to the start. So for this one, the first couple of turns of the body is an orange Berlin wool. So I'm using here a merino in a nice bright orange. Take that to the rear. And wrap the first section on in orange. So it's up to yourself how much of the fly you take up here, but I'm going to take up about 1/4 or so of the body with it. The rest of the body then is in black wool. Now, I'm essentially dubbing wool on here, but you could use actual stranded wool if you prefer. And I'm going to take that up just onto the return eye. Although it's up to yourself as to whether, like some people prefer turtle type knots and that, in which case you need to leave yourself a little bit more shank. So, first tinsel I'm going to wrap is the flat gold. I'm going to wrap that along the body, hopefully in about 4 turns. Tie across it. Now this is a vintage metal tinsel, so there's a good chance I'm going to cut my tying thread with it. So I'm just going to put in a hitch there. And the next one I'm going to wrap is the gold oval, and it's tied in front of this one, so I'm sort of using the rotary function of my vise here just to get me, so I can look at the front side and the back side of the fly as I go. To try and keep the spacings of my ribbing. Now, moment of truth, we're going to try and wrap the hackle. So I'm going to start it, and I'm sort of going to double it as I go, and I want to get a turn or so on at the rear of this marabou typed portion. Once I get that started, then I'm going to take the hackle along the body. So I'm letting it sort of fold back on itself, and as you can see it's almost leaning forward, and that'll give us a lot more motion in our hackle. I get to the front here, I'm going to put on 1 or 2 turns just to shape the front of the fly for me, and tie that off. Fold it back for added security and snip that. So as you can see, we now have a really nice Spey hackle. I'm going to leave all that pointing forward, and now I'm going to put on quite a few turns of my thread. The reason for that is as I wrap, I'm going to use the rotary function of my vise to help me to wrap, and for every turn of this that I put on, it's going to take off a turn of my silk here, so I don't want to lose my tie-in there. So I'm going to use the silver tinsel here. So the reason I wrapped the hackle over the top of it is that I wanted to tie the hackle in, so I want those back couple of turns to be protected. And now what we're going to do, either use scissors or a dubbing needle or something, or I'm going to use a toothpick to wrap this. So I'm just sort of going to rotate the vise and any hackle fibres that look like they're going to get trapped down, I'll just pick them out and continue to turn the fly in the vise. So now my silver rib is coming through the front of the hackle. I can tie it down to secure it. And that, barring a couple of stuck fibres, is our Spey hackle. And we can leave it sitting out as much as we want, or we can give it a quick pinch to get that more streamlined, sleek look to it. Next, I'm going to put on a couple of turns of teal in front of that. So, get a nice teal. I'm going to pick one that has the correct side for my handedness. Strip off the fluffy bits. I'm going to strip off, this is going to be my leading edge, so the curvature you can see works with the curvature of the fly, so I'm going to strip off half of the hackle on that side. Catch the tip and then double it back. So I do have a video in my classic fly tying techniques which describes waterfowl hackles and how to achieve this. So, but essentially I'm half stripping so that I work with the curvature of the feather. Tie that in by its tip and flip it back on itself and tie over it. And then wrap that hackle. Because these sorts of hackles are short anyway, you're only going to really get 2.5 turns out of them. Secure base of it. If we want, we can brush that hackle out. And that is our hackling done. So now we're going to put on the wings. So for this we're going to use bronze mallard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a right and a left feather. I'm going to put the wings on separately. So I'm going to take this feather, this is sort of like a medium kind of feather here. I'm going to strip it off, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to split my bunch, hopefully roughly in two, and then layer it back on top of itself. So it's like a sandwich. Now there's a variety of different ways of putting on Spey wings, but I'm going to do this to try and give you a separated type wing. So we'll repeat the process on the other feather. Rip off the side. What I'm going to do is I'm putting the portion that's closest to the base, which is the more webby bit, on top, if that makes sense. So I have a double layered wing here. I'm going to put this on here. So essentially this is a tips down to my near side, and the length of the wing is up to yourself, but probably length of the body or shorter. I'm going to sort of hold it largely on the side, pinch loop, then repeat the process on the other side. But I'm using this middle edge of this wing to sort of support this one as I go on. I sort of have to catch it and let it fold over a little bit before I'm going to pinch it and throw it back more towards the center. And that's that. It is held. If you want, you could pull the wings apart and sort of figure eight in between them. It's not as pretty looking, but a lot of the older sort of Speys that I've seen do appear to have some separation there, and I've taken ones apart in one of my dissection videos where we came across this, and I think it's bound to have had something to do with the way the fly fished, as I said, because it's not as pretty looking. And I suppose this wing that I've put on here is not a presentation type wing, it's again designed fishing. Finish the head. And varnish. And that will be our gold reek, or reach, however it's pronounced. It'll need a few different coats there, but you get the general idea. So, hopefully you like what you see. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, tell your friends, check out the other videos on the channel, and until next time, tight lines. Thanks for watching.